This is Brian with SunfireAmmo.com. Got my pack here. If you see the first video, I did a small loadout. The whole purpose of this is to pack like I'm going out for a day trip and get stranded out overnight. So just on the loadout, I have no sleeping bag, limited food and water. I did bring a couple extras because I'm going to try out a couple different emergency bags, bivy bags, etc., and see how they work actually out in the field and hold up. Supposed to get down to about 45 tonight. It's the end of October. You'll see my campmates have their larger bags. But like I said, I'm roughing it out. I got the minimals, so we'll see how things go. You see our spot here. We did find a spot that's sheltered from the wind, so that should help us a little bit. So my campmates are going to go collect some firewood and build a fire ring, and I'll do a little video when we get things set up. Okay, I got my 4 emergency sleeping options laid out here. Give you guys a size comparison. Here's my cold steel Bushman. So the first one there on the right is just a standard cheap emergency blanket. Regardless of the other option I have, I'll always have one of those, and I'm going to use that as my ground layer. The second one is the ProForce emergency bag, so it's similar to the emergency blanket, but it's in a bag configuration. The next one is the SOL emergency bivy, and then the last one is the SOL thermal bivy. So if you look at the size, they're all pretty compact. The biggest one is the SOL thermal bivy, and it's about the size of my snug pack poncho I have here, which I have my poncho hung off the back of my day pack. So that way, if you get caught in the rain, you can have easy access to it. So if you want to go with the larger thermal bivy, you can hang that off the back of your bag. But the SOL emergency bivy, I had it in that small outside pocket there. It's pretty small, so I'm going to set these up and kind of do a little comparison and see how they each work. Okay, got the space blanket laid out. Like I said, I'm going to use that as a ground cloth. I have the snug pack emergency bag, and you see it has the shiny side in to keep in your body heat. And then I have the Adventure Medical emergency bivy. They look to be about the same size, pretty similar. The main difference I see is the emergency medical has reinforced seams. I don't really know how to hold up until I lay in one here. So my game plan, I'm going to sleep tonight in the emergency medical emergency bivy. I am going to roll out the thermal bivy here just as a comparison, but I'm going to use a smaller one first and see how comfortable it is when it gets down to about 40 degrees tonight. But here I'll roll back up the ProForce bag, because like I said, they look pretty similar, and I can only sleep in one at a time. So I'll roll out the thermal bivy and we'll kind of look at it in a little more detail. Okay, so I got the Adventure Medical thermal bivy laid out, and you'll see it's a little bit longer than other bags, but they're all pretty much the same size. It's a little wider, it's a little wider than the emergency bivy, but it seems to be about the same size as the emergency bag from Snug Pack. The inside has some kind of Tyvek, and with this one, the reflective materials on the outside, because they're rated to where the lighter emergency bivy will reflect 90% of your heat, and the thermal bivy here will reflect 80% of your heat. You see it has Velcro along the opening here, so you can Velcro it up around yourself. And the thermal bivy is rated for multi-use, so you can reuse it over and over. So it looks like I may start with the emergency bivy, and if things get a little chilly on me, I'll probably slide the emergency bivy into the thermal bivy for some extra protection. But time will tell. We'll see what they both look like in the morning, after a night of sleeping and a night of my dog rolling over, walking over the top of them, and trying to get in them both. Okay, Brian with Sunflower Ammo here. It's about 10 p.m. We're hitting the sack. You can see here, I am in the Adventure Medical Heat Sheets Bivy. The ProForce emergency bag I split and laid it out flat, seeing if Libby the dog, who's right here, I would lay on it. But she doesn't think too much of this. She wants to get in the tent someplace. So we'll see if we can get her in. Supposed to be down to about 40 tonight. Don't know what the temp is now. I will look at it and annotate this video. But this bivy is pretty warm. Really pretty surprised. Like I said, the emergency bivy here is supposed to reflect 90% of your heat. And like I said, I'm toasty. So we'll see what I say in the morning. $7:30 a.m. Survival bivy held up all night. We'll have to say I don't suggest that as a preferred method of sleeping out overnight. What do you think, Lib? Kept me warm. One issue is that it's obviously very thin, so you don't have much padding, so it's not the most comfortable method of sleeping out. The other one, with it not being breathable, I got some condensation inside the bag. So obviously in a survival situation, you aren't worried about that, but in a normal situation, you obviously don't want your clothes or anything to pick up some moisture, which I did. And I'm gonna just put on my shoes, and my socks were a little damp. But other than that, not too bad. Like I said, I'm really surprised that it kept me as warm as it did. Like I said, it was just a comfort level. There's the Snug Pack survival bag. I split it in half. Thought maybe Lib would lay on it here, but she didn't want nothing to do with it.